Hey guys, how are you today? Lunch with Laura here. So excited to welcome our new members. We have quite a few of them again this week. So I just want to welcome everybody. And I also wanted to tell you guys that we are going to I want to have a little fun towards the end of summer here. And I thought what we would do is a new membership drive for August and have a chance to earn some prizes. So what we're going to do is starting on Thursday, August 1st, and I'll go ahead and post this in the group, as well as if you're on our email list, I'll put it in our email as well for this week. But what we're going to do is if you invite 5 people into the group, so for every 5 people that you invite in, you will get either a $5 Amazon or Starbucks gift card. And so you can invite them through the group, but they will have to come in and answer the questions. And because then we need to know, obviously, who referred them, because that is one of the questions that they'll have to answer. And then the person who actually refers the most by the end of August, the last day, is going to get a $50 gift card to either Amazon or Starbucks. So it'll be a fun little contest. We'll get to grow our tribe. The only thing I want to mention, though, is that whoever you're inviting really needs to be in this space. So they either need to be a virtual assistant, maybe they want to, they're just entering the field, or a freelancer of any kind, like a photographer, graphic designer, wwhatever it is. But somebody that, obviously is going to benefit from what we do here in the group. So we just don't want 80-year-old men that just play cards all day or something like that. The group isn't going to do them any good, although they're probably not on Facebook anyways. So that is our contest. Again, that will start on Thursday. So I just can't wait to see who the lucky winner will be at the end of the month. And today what we're going to talk about is up-leveling your clientele. So this is really going to apply more for people who already have their virtual assistant business up and running. But even if you don't, it's still good to listen into and pick up some pointers here and there. But, I've been getting this question a lot from some of our newer members. So obviously people who have already been in the game for a bit, and they're really ready to up-level the clientele that they're working with. Maybe they're just ready they have income goals or whatever it is, and you're just ready to take that next leap. So we're going to go over 2 areas today. So basically how you know that you're ready to do that, and then how to actually go about up-leveling your clientele. So the most important thing to remember when you know that you're ready is you have to know your worth. Okay, and I know that sometimes that might sound funny and you're like, I don't really know what you're talking about, but your client successes are a direct reflection on you and your services, right? So what is really important, and I'm not just talking knowing your worth industry standard wise, I'm talking about what you actually have done for clients, okay? Because that is really going to have more weight now that you've been in the game for a little bit than what somebody else is doing. Because if your service level is here and somebody else's is here, you are ready to take your business to the next level and get that higher clientele. So the way to do that is, first of all, you can ask the clients that you're already working with if you have a relationship like that with them. So it doesn't even have to be in the way of a testimonial. You can make it very conversational, but you can talk to them and ask them questions, surrounding the work that you've done with them and how it's helped their business, how they feel it's helped their business. Because sometimes the way you see it and the way they see it are 2 different ways. So it's a really good idea if you can open up the conversation. And if you can't, or you just don't feel comfortable doing that, then you need to go in and you need to measure the successes yourself that you've seen with your client. So maybe it's you've increased their business by 25%, or you have retained 90% of their client base. Or if you do social media, maybe it's, X number of page likes, or you've grown their audience by 50% in 3 months, or whatever it is. You've built an email list and it took somebody from 0 to 1,000 in 6 months, whatever it is. Know your numbers, because one thing we don't pay enough attention to data. We don't pay enough attention to numbers, period, for some reason. I'm very guilty of that myself. And that's one of the things that we've really been focusing on more as an agency this year, are the numbers and how important that is to your bottom line, and knowing what those analytics are so that you can build and you can grow from there. But that's going to really help you decide what your worth is, how much success you've had with clients, and then being able to relay that success to other people, because that's what they want to know. How are you going to help them? What are you going to do for them that's going to make it worth them paying you that rate? So again, know your numbers, because it's really important. And the other thing that I wanted to tell you is that the number of applications that or software programs that is nowhere near as important as the kind of virtual assistant that you are. So I have to say that in our agency, our best virtual assistants are not the ones that actually know 30 different software applications. They might have a reduced skill set, I guess you could say, when it comes to that. But what they do have, and what makes them so successful, is their work ethic. They're organized, they're detail oriented, they're ultra responsive, they have a tremendous work ethic, they set boundaries and expectations from the very beginning, and they are proactive and not reactive virtual assistants. And those are, when you can really nail down those characteristics, you are going to be at that top level where you are going to really be able to go after that higher paying client. So just keep that in mind, because I see so many people more concerned with wanting to know 30 different applications. You really only need to know the basics, like, a project management software, a database, an email system, and then it's easy to pick up another one. You don't need to know 30 of them, unless you're going to position yourself as an expert, like in Entreport or something, for example. But if that's not what you're going for, then you just need to make sure that you have the characteristics of a rockstar virtual assistant, and then you are able to up-level your clientele from there. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to say is you have to be confident in yourself, and you have to be confident in your work. And this is huge, because if you're not, it's going to show, and it's going to come through when you're talking to people. It's going to come through in the work that you're doing for people. So you really need to be confident in yourself and what you're doing. So, and I always start out by saying some people are born confident, but honestly, I think we're all born confident. I think we just lose it as we go through life. I think there's just things that happen to us that make us, we lose that confidence as we get older, and sometimes it's hard to find again. So that is something that everybody needs to be able, you need to be able to talk to somebody and be ultra confident that, you are the best person for the job. This is your rate. It's non-negotiable. And it's going to come through to somebody. And I just want to tell you, I am a perfect example of this, because when we first started the agency, so when I was a virtual assistant, I did it for almost 20 years, like 18 years, I think it was, before I started the agency. I had no problem selling myself. It was when I got into the agency part of it, and I had to start selling the services of other people and their work ethic. I struggled with it, and you could tell in the beginning. And we would, when we weren't landing these clients that we really wanted to, we actually lowered our rates at one point in the early years. And that was the worst thing we could have done, because it showed that we didn't really have confidence in what we were doing, when in reality, those people just were not our ideal client. And a lot of times it's hard because, you want your business to grow, you want clients, and everybody's so concerned with having a lot of clients, but it's the quality of the clients that you have and not the quantity that you really need to be worried about. So, and another perfect example too for you about confidence is when I first started doing these Facebook Lives. I will never forget, and it wasn't even that long ago, because my wonderful Chrissy has been pushing me to do these. And now that I'm doing them, I feel really confident doing them and I don't have a problem doing it. But in the beginning, I remember one I did on pricing your services, and I sounded like I didn't even know what I was talking about. And when I got off that live, I was like, what was I doing? I sounded awful in here. I was like, I just didn't have the confidence of being on camera, and I was nervous and I wasn't really saying what I wanted to say. And so it takes practice, guys. It does take practice. And I don't want you to think that if you're not super confident that you can't do it, because you can get there, but it's like anything. It's like envisioning your success, or it's like goal planning, or whatever it is. You need to make those little landmarks and just keep working at it. Sorry, I got distracted. My crazy dog just walked in here and I never know what she's going to do. And the other thing I wanted to point out is that sometimes it's hard to separate I just want to help people from I have a business and I need to charge this rate for it. Because we get stuck in that, and I don't know if we do this more as women than men, but more of that nurturing, more of that, oh, I just feel really bad for you. Yeah, I can lower my prices so I can work with you. But you guys, this is a business, okay? If you have a goal that you want to make 6 figures in 12 months, you're not going to get there by lowering your prices or taking on clients that you really know probably can't pay, or they're going to struggle to pay, because you're never going to get to where you want to be like that. So we all take on those initial first clients, especially when we're new and they might not be ideal. But this is why I preach all the time about the ideal clients, because one of the profiles of that ideal client is that they can afford your services. So that, I know I say it all the time, I probably sound like a broken record, but it's really true. And they really, they need to be able to afford you. Okay. That is key, because your business is not going to thrive if it's a hobby and you're just kind of helping people as you go. So keep that in mind, and just make sure that you set those standards for yourself. Make sure you set them for your clients and just stick to it. So once you have all of that together, you know that you're ready to UpLevel, okay? You got that business, you know your pricing, you know your worth, and now you just have to go out there and you have to raise your current rates. And you're probably wondering, well, how exactly do I do that? So you can raise them with your current clients if you feel that they will go for that, okay? And I say this loosely because I'm going to give you an example of what just happened to us at the agency last year. I had a goal. I wanted to make X amount of dollars by December 31st, okay? And I knew that at the current rates that we had set, I was never going to get there. So, and we bumped our rates up. I say considerably. I don't know, maybe it's not, but we bumped them up on average about $5 an hour. But there's a lot that goes into running an agency, and I needed to cover those costs. So I was sick to my stomach for weeks before I actually put the email out there that we were raising rates on our current clients. I was sick afterwards. And you want to know, I had one client that came back to me and said that they were not going to pay the higher rate. They were a big client of mine. I was not prepared to lose them, so I kept them. So you have to be able to have that flexibility as well, okay? But if you go in with the confidence of, you know what, we've worked together for the last 2 years. This is what I've done for you. I love working with you, but because of XYZ, it's time that I raise my rates. One thing I do want to warn you about, though, is just be careful if you have some wording in your contract or in your proposal that you've done for somebody that specifically speaks to rates, because if it's locked in there, you cannot change it. So if that's something that you have in now, you might want to consider either taking it out or putting some verbiage in there that, rates are subject to increase at whatever level you want them to increase at. But always make sure that you cover yourself legally with that. If you don't have an agreement with somebody, then you can talk to them, but feel them out and just, keep that under consideration. So use your relationship as a guideline for how you are going to approach your current clients with this. But when you are ready to go out after that new client base, raise your rates, okay? Raise them and keep them there. So, and this has happened to me too, where we've had clients that have come in at a lower rate because they've been with us for years, and they'll refer somebody to us. And obviously our rates have changed quite a bit since the very beginning. And they'll say, well, so-and-so isn't paying that. And you just simply say, you know what, this is our rate now. They came to us, they've been with us years ago, they were grandfathered in, whatever it is. This is what it is. And if they are your ideal client, they are going to stay with you. They're going to go with you. Okay? So just remember that. If they're your ideal client, they are going to go with you. So you set that, you have a new set of rates now for new clients coming in. You're confident in what your pricing is. You're confident in what you've already done and have helped other people do. And you're going to relay that confident message to your new clients so that they know that you can take them to a higher client base, retaining their clients, getting more engagement, growing their list, getting a bigger audience, whatever it is. But you need to be able to be firm and stick to it. This is probably going to include maybe a new target market for you. Maybe it's completely revamping your message. Maybe you're going to go, because if you see some really, like, let's say business coaches, for example, there's so many of them, but if you notice lately, I've seen a lot of business coaches out there that are saying, I take somebody who is going from 6 figures and wants to get to 7. So that's basically telling you that if you're making under 6 figures, you are not their ideal, you're not that person's ideal client. You need to be making 6 figures, and I'm going to take you to 7. So in your messaging, you don't have to be quite that upfront, but you could say something to the effect of, we help X size business, $1 million plus business owners go to 5 million. Or, we help mid-sized companies become large corporations, or whatever it is, whatever your new target market is going to be, whatever your new norm is. You just have to think that your target market's going to change and your message is going to change. Maybe your niche is going to change. Maybe you were a general virtual assistant and you've really become good at processes, you've become really good at project management, and you want to transition into an online business manager. That is a booming VA industry right now. You can charge a lot more if you're good at what you do. And that is going to get you into that, okay, so I'm not a virtual assistant anymore, but I'm going to manage all of your processes and all of your systems and everybody underneath, because that's what you're positioning yourself for. And then once you start getting into that clientele and then the referrals kick in, the referrals are going to be of like-minded clients, right? Because they're not going to be in the lower group anymore, right? Because they're here and they want to be here. So that means that their colleagues are here and on their way up. So you want to always, it's just like my mom used to always say to me when I was growing up, you want to hang around people that you want to be like, okay? You don't want, and that's obviously, as a parent, we always want our kids to be with like the best, the best group of people. But the same thing goes for business. If you don't need to be hanging out, with the, let's say under $100,000 earners, if you want to be in the $1 million earners, okay? So you need to make that distinction, and then that is where all of your marketing efforts and all of your efforts have to be focused on, and then that circle will be yours. So, those are basically the areas that you can concentrate on. And just remember that you're probably going to have to tweak what you have going on right now if you're ready to move up and scale to that bigger client. So, and maybe it's even something that's going to require you to do some additional training. Maybe you just need like a certification of some sort. Just do it. Just do it. Invest in yourself and do it if that's what you want to do. If you're at the point that I don't want to be here anymore, I want to be here, then make sure that you're doing what you need to do to get there. Don't just keep wishing for it, because it's not just going to happen. So if you are in social media, you need to be constantly learning, always educating yourself. You have to constantly know all of the changes across all the platforms. You need, there's so much involved in being a social media manager. It actually makes my head spin, but thank God I have Chrissy for that. So, but I'm just saying, like, there's always going to be something that if you want to get to a higher level, you're going to need to make sure that you're investing to get to that level, and whatever that's going to look like to you. So growing your business is all about, you need to be able to scale. And in order to scale, you need to be able to raise your rates, and you need to be able to move up to that higher client level and, start swimming with the big fish. So I hope that was helpful to you guys. I know a lot of times, we can get stuck not really knowing exactly what or how to go about change. So if this is going to be a big change for you, just plan it out, set your goals and start planning, plan your way there, set your goals. Maybe you want this, you want to land your first bigger client by the end of the year, then start planning it out so that you have action steps in place that's going to get you there to land that bigger client by the end of the year. I hope you guys have a great day. Again, I'm going to put our new membership drive contest out. So I look forward to seeing who's going to be our winner in August. And if you guys have questions, please feel free to go ahead and post them below. I don't see any questions on here. So anyways, you guys have an awesome day, and I will see you soon.